Ion checked his watch for the third time in 2 minutes, pretending not to care. The cafe was warm and softly lit, filled with the hum of quiet conversations and the hiss of the espresso machine. He had agreed to this blind date after weeks of persuasion from his sister, who insisted he needed to move on. Move on. It sounded simple when other people said it. He adjusted the collar of his navy shirt and glanced toward the entrance again. His phone buzzed. "She's here, table by the window, don't mess this up. Sana." Ion frowned. He was already at the table by the window. Then he noticed someone approaching from behind him. Light footsteps, a faint scent of jasmine. He turned casually, expecting to see a stranger with a nervous smile and hopeful eyes. Instead, he saw a woman in a pale beige dress, her hair shorter than he remembered, her posture more confident, her face slightly older but unmistakably familiar. But his mind refused to connect the dots. She stopped in front of him. "Ion." Her voice, soft, steady, hit him somewhere deep in his chest. He blinked. "Hi, I'm Ion." A flicker of something crossed her eyes, surprise, disappointment. "I know," she said quietly. "I'm Zara." The name meant nothing to him. He smiled politely. "Nice to finally meet you, Zara." She studied him for a long moment, as if searching for something. Then she nodded and sat down. "So," he began awkwardly, "how was your day?" She gave a small laugh. "Long, busy, but I was curious about tonight." "Curious?" "Yes, I haven't done a blind date before." "Neither have I," he admitted. There was an odd tension at the table. Not the usual first date nervousness, but something heavier, like a secret waiting to be uncovered. He looked at her properly now. There was something about her eyes, dark brown, almost honey-colored when the light caught them. Familiar, unsettlingly familiar. "Have we met before?" he asked suddenly. Her fingers tightened slightly around her glass of water. "You don't remember me?" The question wasn't accusing, it was fragile. Ion searched his memory. University friends, office colleagues, weddings, family gatherings. "I'm sorry," he said honestly, "I don't think so." She leaned back, exhaling slowly. "It's okay." But it clearly was. They talked anyway. About work, about books, about the way Multan's summers felt endless and unforgiving. She was an architect. He worked in marketing. She loved old buildings and forgotten places. He loved music and late-night drives. On paper, it felt easy. But every now and then, she would look at him with a mixture of wonder and sadness, like someone watching a familiar movie where the ending had already been written. At one point, she reached into her bag. "Can I show you something?" "Sure." She pulled out a small, slightly faded photograph. It was of two teenagers sitting on a hospital corridor bench, a thin boy with tired eyes and a forced smile, and beside him, a girl with long hair and tear-streaked cheeks holding his hand tightly. His heart stuttered. He knew that corridor. He knew that boy. It was him. 17 years old, terrified, waiting outside the ICU while his mother underwent surgery. He stared at the girl in the photo. Long hair, same honey-brown eyes. He looked up at the woman sitting across from him. The cafe noise seemed to fade into silence. "Zara," he whispered. She nodded slowly. You used to volunteer there," he said, memories rushing back in chaotic waves. "You brought tea to the families. You sat with you every night for a week," she finished softly, "because you wouldn't sleep." His chest tightened painfully. "You cut your hair," he said stupidly, as if that explained why he hadn't recognized her. She laughed, but her eyes were shining. "It's been 10 years, Ion." 10 years? After his mother passed away, he had disappeared from everything, changed his number, moved cities for university, built walls so high even he couldn't see over them. "I tried to find you," she admitted, After you left, but you were just gone." Guilt washed over him. "I was drowning," he said quietly. "I didn't know how to stay." They looked at each other then, not as strangers on a blind date, but as two souls who had once shared a silent, sacred grief. "I never forgot you," she said, "not because of romance or anything dramatic, but because that week changed me. You were so broken and still so kind." He swallowed hard. "You were the only reason I didn't completely fall apart." The truth settled between them like something fragile and luminous. He didn't recognize her when she walked in. But now, looking into her eyes, he felt like he was 17 again, raw, scared, and seen in a way no one had seen him since. The waiter interrupted gently, asking if they wanted dessert. Ayan almost laughed at the absurd normalcy of it. "2 coffees," Zara said before he could answer. He raised an eyebrow. "You still remember." "You hated sweet things when you were stressed," she replied. "Said sugar made your thoughts louder." He stared at her. "You remember everything." "I tried not to," she said honestly, "but some people stay." Silence wrapped around them again, but this time it wasn't heavy. It was warm. "Why did you agree to this blind date?" he asked. She hesitated. "Sana reached out to me." "My sister," he blinked. "She volunteers at the same hospital now," Zara explained. "We met months ago. One day she showed me a photo of her brother and I almost dropped my phone." Ayan let out a breathless laugh. "She never told me." "She wasn't sure you were ready," Zara said gently. "Neither was I." He looked at the photograph again. The boy in it looked lost, helpless. He wasn't that boy anymore. But the girl beside him, the one who had held his hand in a fluorescent-lit corridor while machines beeped behind closed doors, was sitting in front of him now. "I'm sorry I didn't recognize you," he said quietly. Zara reached across the table. When her fingers touched his, the world seemed to narrow to that single point of contact. "It's okay," she whispered. "You recognize me now." And he did. Not just her face, not just her voice. He recognized the feeling. The steadiness. The way she made silence feel safe. Outside the cafe window, the evening deepened into night. Cars passed. People laughed. Life moved forward as it always did. But inside, something gently rewrote itself. "I don't want to disappear again," he said. "Then don't," she replied simply. No grand declarations, no dramatic promises. Just two people who had once met in the worst week of their lives, finding each other again in a quieter season. He hadn't recognized her when she walked in. But when their eyes met, truly met, he saw the past, the pain, the comfort, and maybe, just maybe, the beginning of something neither of them had expected. And this time, he wasn't going anywhere.